Welcome to the iTeach808 Empowering Hawaii's Teachers in Technology Conference, sponsored by the Augustine Educational Foundation and Sacred Hearts Academy, Honolulu. My name is Maddie, and I'll be facilitating this session. We are so honored to have Noah Myers join us today to share his expertise through a 45-minute presentation titled Flipgrid, Making Videos a Part of Your Virtual Discussions. Please be aware that we will be recording this session. If you don't want to be recorded, you may consider turning off your camera during the session and reviewing the recordings afterwards. The recordings will be made available via YouTube and shared on the iTeach808 website a week after this event. Without further ado, I'll hand it over to Noah.
Thanks for the introduction. The last one of the day, we're on the home stretch. Well, I'm super honored to be here. This is a really fun opportunity, and I want to thank you guys for showing up today as well. I'm not too sure if a lot of you have done Flipgrid or had the joys of teaching in a distance learning situation, but this is something that I found really useful. And when I saw that iTeach808 was coming up, this was something that kind of came to mind. Sorry, the custodian just came into my room. I'm at school still till 4:30. Oh boy. But it's okay because I have coffee. Anyway, so Flipgrid. Right. Sorry, give me a sec. If you guys want the presentation, I'll put the link in the chat. These slides are yours to use. If you choose to share them with somebody else, just give me a shout out. That's all I ask. This is something that I put together over the course of a week when I had some free time, and I just wanted to share what I've learned and how the ways that I found useful or Flipgrid useful with you guys. So, anywho, Flipgrid is a great way for having discussions online. If your classroom isn't quite really discussing much, this is a pretty cool opportunity. So I always do this at the beginning of my classes and my PD sessions. Today, all students will learn about the ways to use Flipgrid in their pedagogy, what have you, and make their own Flipgrid account, create their own group, and post a topic if you choose to do so at the end of the day. I'll leave a little bit of time for you to work through Flipgrid and explore it on your own. Hopefully there is a whole bunch of slides, so I'll go through it as fast as I can. I've been pretty speedy today, but hopefully there's some time afterwards for you guys to ask questions, experiment with it, ask for help if you need, okay? We're gonna do an overview. I'm gonna teach you how to set it up, some basics and a few other tips. And lastly, as I mentioned, the assignment, your turn. So responding with text is cool. Responding with video, that's when you get all suave and cool. Way cooler, excuse me. Quick question. You guys can respond to this in the chat, or if you want to say it out loud in your microphones, that's awesome too. What was the hardest part about distance teaching and learning? For those of you who had the experience of it, I guess. I'll give you a few seconds to respond. Okay, I guess y'all are a bit shy. Maybe I should have done a Flipgrid. That's fine. It would have just taken a bit longer. We got a lot to get through. So my thoughts, in my experience, the hardest part was connecting with my students. Much like right now, all of my kids had their microphones off, the cameras off. At first, they're really excited to see each other through their computers, but after a while, it kind of lost its lure. And because of this, discussions in the class suffered. They didn't want to talk. They didn't want to respond. I had a few kids who are really social, but the rest of them are just like, I can hide. They're going to be silent and it's fine. So what Flipgrid does is it gives an opportunity and kind of forces them to share their thoughts in a discussion. And it's a little less stressful for them because they don't have to think about the other people in the classroom. They can just do it one-on-one with their computer on their own time too. So yeah, so that's what Flipgrid is. You can go and check out this YouTube. I kind of just showed you about it though, and I'm going to demonstrate it for you guys. So in the interest of time, I think if you want to watch it on your own time, that's cool. But for right now, Flipgrid is kind of a social media. I'm just going to continue. Flipgrid is kind of a social media-esque way to have discussions with your students online as well as in person, I guess. You can definitely take what has been done on Flipgrid and then transfer it into your physical or virtual classroom. But it kind of emulates some of the aspects of like Instagram and Facebook where you can respond, or I guess more TikTok and things like that, where you can respond with videos, right? And that's how they said, hey, this is a cool idea. Let's try and do this in the classroom. And they created a platform for that to happen. It can be useful for teachers. It can also be useful for administrators. It's just a good way to get people to visually and audibly contribute to a conversation. So let's go through the setups and the basics. From making an account, creating a group, connecting to Google Classroom, and post a topic and reply. You're going to be super smart, just like this guy at the bottom. Look at his brain. It's shiny. All right, so setups and basics. Right here, you're going to go to info.flipgrid.com and click sign up if you have not already. You can connect it with your Microsoft or your Google account. I think most people have Google accounts that are in the education system, so it's a little bit easier. The good thing with that is that whatever account you choose to use, you can then connect it to your Google Classroom or your Microsoft Team and so on and so forth. That way, whatever kids you have on your roster in your Google Classroom can be automatically enrolled in Flipgrid, which is pretty awesome. It makes it a little easier for you, skips a bunch of steps. If you don't have a Google Classroom or a Microsoft Team, you just have to add your students one by one or whoever you're participating with. So creating a group is pretty easy. As you see over here in the top right, there's a big blue group button. You go through that, you can name it. We'll call this one session 4, because that's the last one for today. And then you can invite people, you can enroll people, you can share with the Google Classroom, you can embed it in your website if you have one, share it on your Microsoft Teams, on Remind, on Twitter. You can change it so anybody can join, which is kind of dangerous. I would avoid that. You can copy a link and post it and email it to your students. It's up to you. They just tried it. Oh, you can even give them a QR code so that they can join from their phones. But yeah, they just try to make it as easy as possible, as many different variation or ways as possible to get people signed up, which is pretty cool because there's a bunch of different ways. Brenda, sorry, I'm looking at my chat right now and Brenda just made me laugh. Oh, cool. Yeah, Google Classroom with kindergarten, I can see being a bit difficult. I'm sure I have a 3-year-old. I don't know if she would be able to use Google Classroom in a couple of years when she gets into kindergarten, but definitely the parents can. So it just kind of depends. I always wondered how kindergarten teachers were able to do distance learning. I thought that would have been quite the challenge. So I teach computer science. It's all on computer anyways. So that's pretty easy for me. Yeah, you can upload your own photo. You can name it. It's up to you. Make it stylistically awesome or minimalistic as you like. It's up to you. Different ways to invite members. I mentioned that already. When you do go to your Google Classroom, sorry, this will pop up. And I only have one class in here because this is my school account. Oh, cool. I'm glad you guys found something that works for you. Thanks, Mayumi. But that's one way to enroll them. I don't know if Seesaw is connected to this, but you can still share the link with them in whatever platform you guys have. Inviting members, the shareable link, if they click on it, they'll be automatically directed to the group. And this is just like a bigger explanation of stuff that I already went over. So if you guys want to go back and read it on your own time, that's fine. I'm just going to move on. Again, went over that. Now let's post some topics. Sorry, excuse me, I need a little water. All right, I'm back. So we're in our classroom or our group, excuse me. And now we want to post something. It has something already. It's like the default one. It always comes up. But I want to post another topic. Are you today? Just kind of random. You can add in stuff in here. You can add in links. The cool thing about this, and I'll go over this in a second, even add in media, just to limit a recording time. Some of this stuff is stuff that I will go over right here, but I'm also going to do a little bit of a demonstration. We're going to go over the settings next, okay? So if you wanted to add an image, you can drag and drop the file, but it has to be on your computer already. Same with a video. You can take a video in order to ask your question. The cool thing is there's the effects. You can change the background and stuff like that. If you have a video to upload that's already on your computer, or you can add something from YouTube and Vimeo, which is really awesome. And there's other ways of integrating stuff too, but that one gets a bit more complicated and advanced. You have to have Adobe things or Buncee. I've never used Buncee myself. I've done a bit of Adobe though. But there's different ways to raise the topic, if you will, and prep your students for it. And then as we get into settings, you can change it to active, view only, or hidden. View only means it's kind of closed. People go and watch the reactions if they want. And hidden, it's pretty obvious. You can set up a schedule. So when it starts and when it's available, it's kind of like, hey, our assignment opens now, it ends tomorrow, whatever you guys got. You can limit the types of responses. You can make video and text comments, video comments only, text comments only, or none if you want it to be a closed type of topic, which would be kind of weird. I'm going to pose a topic and nobody can respond. You can even enable closed caption. So for those who are audibly impaired, they can still be able to read the stuff that's on the screen while watching the facial expressions. So that is pretty cool right there. Responses, you can allow attachments, control different things over here. Camera, you can allow essentials. That's the stuff that I kind of showed you already from, you can put text in it, drawing, stickers, frames, boards, other effects and stuff like that. And sticky notes as well, which just kind of makes it a little bit more fun. Again, they're borrowing from the social media world. So, and if you want to add in a guest password, this is kind of cool. And I'll go over this in my slide too. Say you have a guest presenter in whatever topic you're posing for the day. You can give them a password so that they can have access, but only to that particular topic. So they don't have to have access to the whole class, but that particular topic, they can do it. Like you have a college professor presenting about a college that the kids are interested in or whatever like that. You can give the professor or the administration or admissions officer, whatever you guys want to call them, sorry. You can give them access that way too. And that's how you toggle that one on and off. So cool, post it. You can share it like this, kind of similar to sharing a group, but now you're just sharing a specific topic, QR code, classroom, embed in your website, Microsoft Teams, Remind, and Twitter. All set, cool, thanks, right on, thanks. But that's one way. Again, if you share the link, it's only going to be available to people who are enrolled in your class unless you put that guest password on, and you'd have to share that with them as well. These are the things that I've talked about already. Do you guys have any questions on posting a topic or setting up a classroom? Give you a couple more seconds. Nope, cool. All right, let's move on. Other tips. Your organization skills will save you in the end. So if you can stay organized in the beginning, it'll prevent you from, I don't know if you guys have seen this show, it's pretty gory, but yeah, it kind of represents how I felt about it. All right, so other tips. So there are more features and controls, not just the ones that I've showed you already. You always look for the magical 3 dots. No matter what website you're on or what app you're doing, if there are 3 dots around, there's more options for you. So immersive reader dictates topic description. You can have more controls here, which is mentioned right here, and submit to discovery, and we'll talk about discovery there, but it's basically an area you can go to check out other topics, get ideas for your own topics. You can post your topics up there for other people to use it or respond to it depending on what you allow. And that would be up here, hide topic, duplicate topic, export data, so on and so forth. As you go back to the session, again, there's some cool stuff here. We did the sharing stuff already, sorry. And you can even see it right here. Submit to discovery, that's what I was mentioning to you. You can record your own response from here. You don't necessarily have to go into the topic. Move it around, so on and so forth. Navigation. So this is kind of important, especially for those who aren't quite used to navigating around websites. You've created your topic, you're in here. Okay, cool. How do I go back? So if you notice, the title of your topic is right here. This is kind of like your navigation bar, if you will. So what I have here is my topic, my class, or your group, and then your main page, your home page, which is groups. You can also get to it by going here, pressing the Flipgrid link on the top left. Team integration. So Microsoft Teams, have you used that, Brenda?
Lightly, yes, lightly in a couple of settings.
Okay, so it's basically kind of like Google Classroom, but Microsoft's take on it. I've done it for a couple of professional developments that I've taken. It's like creating an online classroom where you guys host your discussions. You can host assignments, topics, and an way to organize people that are in the class, but taking that and integrating it with Flipgrid too. So Flipgrid becomes kind of an extension of that platform right there. Does that make sense? Cool. Thanks for the thumbs up. Appreciate it. I don't have any Microsoft Teams on me right now. Sorry, that professional development is down. It was a while ago, so I can't necessarily show you from my own personal experience, but you're just going to have to trust me on that one, okay? Anyway, so here's my groups, my topics, and that's one way to navigate around. Again, you can always click on Flipgrid. Not working, of course. Groups, and there's another thing over here, camera, which I'll get to in a second, okay? Groups page has some options there too. You can edit and share your groups. I think I went over that a little bit. One thing I do want to go over actually. So I'm at my groups, right? If I go to the 3 dots again, you can add co-leads. So say you have a guest administrator, say you have a co-teacher, or just a teacher from another class, or your best friend for whatever reason, you want them to be a co-lead. They'll have privileges within this group that the students or the other participants will not have in order to create topics, change settings and stuff like that. So that's one thing you can do there. Oh, that's where the Teams integration, thank you. That's where the Teams integration comes in right there. But again, that requires Microsoft Teams. So if you don't have Microsoft Teams, don't worry about it. And then export data. So I don't have any data here, but whatever answers have been recorded will become a spreadsheet on Excel. You can also here, I'll share it. This is what it looks like. And I'll switch to this one. So, I mean, it's kind of more like the numbers game. It doesn't show you the responses. but it more so shows you like how many people responded and things like that. It's like statistics regarding your stuff. So it doesn't necessarily show you the responses. And then, sorry, let me close that. That's a couple of things that you can do from the groups page. But as the data is more so like feedback for you to see how people have interacted. Main menu. Okay, every website, every app, they all have a main menu. Here's how you find it. See your cute little avatar, click on that. You can go through all of these different sections over here from your profile to discover, which is something I mentioned already. You can check your own activity, make some mixtapes, which is very old school. I don't know if our students know what a mixtape is anymore. Achievements, I don't know, just to make yourself feel like you deserve a trophy. You can make some pals that are, sorry, there's a fly in my room and it's bothering me, that are in different groups, and then settings, and you can log out too. The pals kind of seems like more of the social media part of it in order to engage with other people. Let's go check out Discovery since I mentioned it. So Discovery is kind of like the public place to host topics or check out other topics, get some ideas for inspiration. This is really the social media aspect of it, where you can go and check out, let's go check out engineering. I think engineering is cool. Different topics related to that from different communities. Elementary, paper airplane design seems like a pretty cool elementary project. I love paper airplanes. But just different ideas for you to add different aspects to your pedagogy, right? And that's how Discovery could be a really cool place. It's like Pinterest in a way, where you just go, hey, these are some pretty cool ideas. I want to implement it in my own classes. And then you can even go and share out with other people too. It's more of like a public forum, if you will. Achievements, just kind of stats for you. I don't have a whole lot because I'm not on my school account right now. And then Grid Pals kind of just shows who's around you. I think this is more of a bragging feature. But it lets you be either hidden, active, shows people around you. Yeah, a bunch of people from Hawaii. Cool, right on. Thailand. Right on. Anyway, just a different way that they're kind of borrowing from the social media world, right? And then settings, I believe, is the next section we're going to do. This is where you can change your organization name, all kinds of other subjects, whatever subject you want to teach. You don't have to go and mess with all of this stuff, but if you want to get, deck out your profile, make it more specific to you and better representation of you, this would be the place to do it. Add in more email addresses, and this is where you would delete your account if you so wanted to. But yeah, that's kind of it for the settings. Do you guys have any questions about settings before I move on to the next section? Nope. Okay, cool. The camera I already talked about, but I guess I'll go a little bit more in depth. If you click the options down here, you can upload your clip. You can choose to turn off your video and do mic only. Record your screen. So this is one that my students often want, where they have demonstrations that I'm doing for a program that I'm designing with them, or coding with them. I can record my screen and say, hey, what do you guys think about this element of code right here? You have some device settings if you want to do your camera, change your microphone, stuff like that, which is pretty typical. I'm sure you guys have seen this in Zoom and stuff like that already. Mirror your video, so show it like, flip it around, that's kind of weird. Some cool effects. Yeah, let's be at the beach. and backdrops if you have a specific backdrop in mind. With the effect, that's pretty spacey. I don't know if I dig that. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do to kind of make it look cooler. It's like filters in Instagram, if you will, to kind of like make it a little bit more exciting and not so, hey, this is just me on a camera. Some other tips, I already told you about layup. So the main thing about Flipgrid is connection. And they wanted it to make sure that people were able to connect with it. So it's not just a website. They have apps too on the two major operating systems for smartphones, as well as tablets. So Google Play and Apple Store, or Apple App Store, excuse me, both have apps for Flipgrid. So if you got a phone, you can download it and do everything you got to do on there, both as a teacher, person who posts the topic, administrator, whatever, as well as the person that's participating in the discussion. So you can do everything you want from your device as well. Oh, and that's pretty much my basic run through of Flipgrid to kind of get you guys started. You don't have to make one, it's up to you, but if you guys want to go explore and you want some help or need some guidance or have some questions about something specific, now is the opportunity. Other than that, it was a pleasure kind of hanging out with you guys and showing you a couple of things about Flipgrid.
Do we have any questions at this time? Okay. Sensing none, I mean, this is the last presentation for the day. So we can leave it on for a little while more if you guys wanted to try it out and have some more questions.
Yep, I'll hang out for a bit.
But we did want to say mahalo to Mr. Myers and thank you for everyone's participation. We hope that you found this session helpful and made some valuable connections. Please help us finish the survey on the iTeach808 website, which is this website right here. It's iTeach808.com. Anyways, and it will be emailed to the email that you registered with. So please check the spam folder for any emails from iTeach808Hawaii@gmail.com. And if you complete it by February 4th, you'll be entered to win one of $25 Target gift cards if you complete the survey. So thank you so much for being here today. And there's no more sessions. If you want to try to jump in another session at this point, you can try. I think it goes till 5:30. So have a great rest of your day and thank you for joining us.
Thanks for hanging out, guys. I'll be here for a bit.
You know, I did have some feedback. So the students get worried about their videos being aired or being public. So there's ways to lock it in, right? I think that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know you got to really teach them to watch when they're doing that, they have to make sure they log in and put in settings. So.
Yeah. As far as the settings that you can control that too. The amount of people that have access to your topics or to your groups is up to you. So that is something you got to be careful of as well. But if you set it up right, and it's usually rather by default, you don't necessarily have to worry about that. And I understand their privacy concerns. I would have them too.
Yeah. So then the other ones, like at one point, they all did a video and introducing themselves at the start of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were some of them, so they didn't want some of the other kids to see it in class. So see that. So when we're dropping it, they were like really concerned about other kids. So I couldn't find a way to do that necessarily. And so the class, they could access everything in the class thing.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a way to like say, hey, this 5 kids can't watch this kid's video. I don't know if there's a way to do that within the group. As far as I know, it's like whoever has access to the group has access to viewing privileges.
And they can't make it copies of it or anything like that though, but they could always view it with their phone. They could find a way around it. That's where some of the kids were really shy and I said, just block your face out or put something else in. But
Yeah, I think there are, low tech ways, like how you said, to make sure that doesn't happen, but recording the screen, not that hard to do. So that's
yeah,
unfortunate. People take advantage, but that's what the challenges we have in this day and age. But that
yeah,
kind of stuff can also be documented as bullying. So those others who are doing that really got to be careful too, not to do that.
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. What's up, Mayumi? How you doing?